Hey everyone, I'm Alexis the Ego Queen, and welcome back to Queen's Court. In the last episode, we got ambushed, which kind of went as well as we all expected. Also, Pollonia vanished. But with a proper recap, here's Victor.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am Vicky the GM, and welcome back to the Queen's Court. When we last left our hero, as the Tithe Bandits launch their seemingly well-hidden ambush, they are met with fiercer opposition than they could ever have imagined, as Tarbuck and Pollonia unleash a withering salvo from the front, while Amma and Larisian ambush the ambushers. The fighting becomes frenzied as the Tithe Bandits rush in, heedless of their own safety as they fight to secure the caravan's food supply. In the midst of the melee, Pollonia senses a swell of psychic power approaching, and sees a group of robed men advancing on the warband's position. Their leader, a pale-faced bald man, shouted over the fighting, wishing to know whether they had heard of the living saint, only to join in on the fighting. The veil grew weak as multiple psychic powers were unleashed, and the earth protested as it shook violently, threatening to knock everyone off their feet. After killing the majority of the Tithe Bandits and seeing off the rest, the warband focused on taking the leader of the Psychers alive, though this proved to be a more difficult task than expected. Even with the help of the caravan's Ogren, who promptly broke the Psyker's leg, Dr. Pollonia attempted to take over the Psyker's mind, only for it to backfire, as she draws on too much power and is overtaken by it. After a moment of time, somewhere between a blink of an eye and an eternity, Talia's mind and body are assaulted by a kaleidoscopic maelstrom of color and gnashing teeth, as she falls endlessly in all directions, as though gravity cannot make up its mind. An infinity of new scenarios ending in the worst possible fates imaginable playing out before her. Every time she thinks she's gained a grasp on the situation and figured a way to get past, it turns out to be another stumble into an even worse fate. A continual fear, an unimaginably intense paranoia. The moment she considers a horror, it becomes reality. Yet, as these assaults on her sanity continue to bombard her, they abruptly stop, as if entering the eye of this storm of madness. The colors swirling around her are replaced instead by a pink and purple haze of smoke, as the smell of incense and ammonia becomes intense. Wandering around aimlessly, Talia feels an unnerving as intense as the maelstrom she just escaped from, but for the opposite reason. Everything is calm, lackadaisical even, as if apathy could be environmental. Finally, she reaches a clearing where the smoke clears just enough to reveal a large mushroom, the stalk disappearing into the smoke-covered ground, the cap colored the deepest red, the gill shedding tiny blots of starlight. It's not the fungus, however, that catches Thalia's attention. It is the creature lounging atop it. A roughly 6-meter-tall serpentine woman with feather wings and 4 arms, her primary arms ending in a series of crab-like claws, whilst her lesser arms end in humanoid hands. Her lower body replaced with scaled tail instead of legs, the tip of said tail accentuated with a heart-shaped fin. 2 slightly curved horns protrude from beneath her lighter shade of red hair. This creature of perfection looks upon you as you approach, though it seems to show no apparent sign of interest as she takes a drag of an intricately designed water pipe and exhales, adding to the foggy fumes surrounding you.
What are you?
I have been watching you.
I'm gonna stare at it, confused and lost.
You feel a strange
Where am I?
You feel a strange sense of calmness overtake you. The wrongness of the creature in front of you should be filling you with unimaginable dread, but the fumes surrounding you seem to have a relaxing effect, as if luring you into a false sense of security.
I will approach the mushroom and get closer.
You are in my domain.
Do I belong here?
No, you are here by an accident. Though I fear that getting back will be quite the effort. Something I am not up to the task for, as she lays down on her back. Her face upside down as she looks you over.
I'm going to turn and look back the way I came. Is it just Warpel?
Well, it's mostly pink and purple smoke. However,
Okay.
you can roll an awareness test for me.
Sure. Oh my gosh.
Is it troublesome on a tablet?
Yeah, it's just being annoying.
There you go.
I made it with 2.
You did. As you look behind you, you peer into the smoky haze, and you see what appears to be a flickering candlelight, barely perceptible through the mist.
I'm gonna turn back towards this woman on the shroom and ask her, if I go back, am I going to experience what I did before?
I do not know. I don't venture out from my little domain. It is too much of an effort. If you could tell me what you felt, perhaps I might be able to tell you beforehand.
I feel confusion. I was tumbling through an endless pit of horror when I found myself here. And now I'm struggling to remember where I came from. But I think it was from there. And I'll point towards the candle. Or point towards the light.
The creature looks at the direction that you're pointing in and lets out another exhalation of water vapor and says, "Oh yes, he's looking at you too, you know."
I'm just gonna pause for a moment as shivers go up my spine. So, there's someone there.
There is.
There's something. It's been with me.
He's been staring at you. 1 foot in the material realm, and everything else in here. I need you to roll a willpower test for me, Mope.
Okay. Nope, I fail.
Let's see.
By 1?
You failed by 1. Let me roll. You gain 2 corruption points.
Okay. I'm at 50.
Oh boy. We'll handle that after the session.
I'm gonna look back at her and ask her, Are you a demon?
I suppose mortal minds call me that. Though I find the phrase so tedious. It is a guttural description that belies my true fashion.
I'll raise an eyebrow at her and say, well then, what should I call you?
I am Neverborn. Though that could be said for almost every denizen in here. You may call me the Somnolent.
The Somnolent. Then, is this the warp?
You see the Somnolent put you see a strange look upon her perfectly symmetrical face, as if she is attempting to understand that word, as if it seems alien to her.
The Immaterium.
Oh, yes. of course, humans and others have so many names for this, and she lazily gestures one of her crab claws around. You seem to have found your way to me, though
Yeah.
I don't think you intended to find your way here.
No, that was not my intention. No, hold on. Hold on 1 second, sorry. Hey, what's up? I'm going for it.
As Mope vanishes.
Whoosh.
No, I'm still here. I'm just sharing the house. Oh, I know. We're good. But I will, I'll look at her. And I'll ask her, so at this point, should I return or should I just stay here?
If you wish, you can stay with me. I suppose no one will miss you.
I'm gonna clench my hand and look down, and then look back up at her and say, that doesn't sound right.
You can roll another willpower test for me.
Okay. Okay, well, I passed that one.
You made it.
So the question then is, does that mean I remember everyone?
You take 4 insanity points.
Oh.
You are trying to comprehend the warp.
That would
Well,
drive anyone insane.
Yeah, besides, if I wouldn't have any rules regarding this place. I can just throw out stuff however which way I please. Or
Literally
randomly.
the warp.
That is how the warp works.
In any case, the demon turns around and lies on her stomach as she looks down on you and says, "I could, if you wanted, give you the strength to return back."
I don't feel that's right. Even if there aren't people who care about me, there are people who need me.
I suppose. There's a look of genuine hurt on her face.
I'm gonna look at her with a puzzled look. You don't want me to go?
There are so few demons or mortals otherwise that come by this place, and I do not wish to seek anyone out.
Are you lonely?
I suppose I am, but it is an exquisite loneliness. And she stops mid-sentence. I suppose you've ruined my loneliness now. It is gone.
I'll clench my hand again and nod.
So, I guess you want to leave now?
If I stay here, am I just going to be subjected to the same things again?
If you stay here, you can enjoy my solitude with me.
I'll look back at the mist, and then back at her. I'll look back at the light, and then back at her again. As generous as the offer sounds, I feel like I'm abandoning everyone. But at this point, who knows what they've all done? It's been so long.
Has it? I can't quite tell.
It's felt like an eternity.
She waves one of her human-like arms in a dismissive gesture. You'd be surprised, but I do believe it's on time you went back.
I'm gonna take a step back from her and then look back at her one more time and say, but all that I got when I came from that direction was pain and terror.
And then you'll have to walk that way back before you reach the light. Before you go, I might be able to smooth your journey.
How could you do that?
Do you feel the emotion in here?
I'm gonna take a few minutes. I'm gonna breathe. I'm gonna inhale. And then I'm gonna look back at her.
You feel an excessive amount of calmness. This is entirely unbefitting of the situation.
Yeah. I'm gonna look back at her, still calmly, despite everything, and say, I feel at ease.
Then let me help you this way. And she takes a long drag on her water pipe and exhales in Polonia's direction as she is engulfed in the smoky mist. She feels herself get hurled back as gravity loses grip on her, and she is flung back the way she came, this time only slightly more bearable, but what is an eternity of hell, if only slightly less awful. And
with that, I will, as I get ushered on, I will navigate towards the light.
As Pollonia attempts to steer herself through the madness of the warp, she navigates using her candlelight, and as she is able to touch the flame, she is back into the materium.
Can I roll Cynesians to sense her arrival?
Yes, you can, even with a plus 10.
I'm assuming you would see it too.
She is looking at the Psyker Man.
Oh, fair enough.
Ah, Rosalina doesn't notice.
Did you add the plus 10? Yeah, you did. Oh.
Yep. Rosalina is too engulfed in her work. Although,
if you need to come again, feel free. I'm not doing anything important.
we will roll an awareness to see her actually come back.
Cool.
Indeed, you do see Pollonia lying on the ground. As you look at her, there is something strange. As you can see a purple tendrils of mist. There we go. That's the phrase I was looking for. They are tiny and minute, and they disappear as soon as you look at them. But they were there, and Pollonia does seem to be a bit more disheveled than at the start of the fight. Though
I'm gonna have my arms curled across my chest and a little hunched over as I look around, almost, not even almost, like I just look around, I'm pretty uneasy. I'm pretty confused.
One of the pilgrims walks up to Pollonia and offers his hand to raise her up.
I'll take his hand and raise up, and then I'm gonna look around. Do I see everybody?
You do indeed. However, they seem to be...
I'm gonna try to telepathic link with this guy.
With him?
Yeah, the first pilgrim who walked up to me.
Ah, this guy, right?
Yeah. That's just
Okay.
sty rating 1.
Let me grab his. Stats. Oh, willpower is not awful, but he fails horribly. All you have to do is succeed. Oh yeah, I wonder how difficult it is to roll up psychic powers in this.
No, not very. It's just the issue I'm having is whenever I go to hit one of the chat bars, it's like, oh, did you want to open up a text bar that's going to come right in front of the dialogue menu to finish the action?
Ah, right. So
that's the only thing that's causing me frustration.
As the pilgrim helps you up, you start reading his thoughts, and you hear him. Because you only use one psi rating, you get surface thoughts, and you can hear him reciting a silent prayer to the Harvest Father, giving thanks for his protection.
I'm gonna, with the telepathic link, I'm gonna communicate with him and ask him, what's going on? Where am I? What's happened?
At this, the pilgrim is actually gonna, let's see if he freaks out. Does not. You see him look around and say, "Who said that?"
I'm gonna stand up and step towards him again, and I'm gonna try to say the same thing mentally to him. You want me to roll another telepathic link?
Sure.
Go ahead and do that.
If Rosalina wants to, she can definitely roll Sunny Scenes against these.
Okay.
Okay, so I succeeded on a 56, and I'm just gonna continue to ask. I'm gonna look at him and again telepathically communicate that, like, my name is Talia Pollonia.
As he finally, as he looks around, he finally locks eyes with you and speaks out loud. How are you doing that?
I'm gonna give him a confused look, and I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna telepathically communicate with him, like, how else would I talk? And here, let me roll one more. I'm just gonna roll a D100. We know we cast it on an 80.
Yeah.
There we go.
Do you have your...
Yeah, I've got this roller. It's
right.
taking it a second to connect.
Okay.
It says it's rolling the dice.
Right.
Rolling the dice. Oh my gosh. There we go.
Right, I'll take the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you do it once again. At this point, the man starts shouting and says, "Witch! Witch!" And he reaches for his flail.
Do we all hear this?
Yes, you hear one of the pilgrims shouting that there's a witch.
At that, I'm gonna look at Tarbuck and look at Larician. Hold him down. Amma. Bodyguard. And I know that's ironic.
Huh.
And I'm gonna start moving over towards Pollonia.
When I notice Rosalina, I'm going to telepathic link with her too. I'm going to try a higher psi rating. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to communicate to you what I just went through.
Okay. Mope, do you want Victor to roll for you to make it easier for you?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We know I cast on an 80. If you can just roll a D100 for me, I'm going to cast it at psi rating 3. So that should be... Yeah, the 65 succeeds.
Do you resist?
No.
Alexis?
I'm just gonna
Yeah,
look
you-
at her kind of concerned.
You roll a D100.
I'm also going to ask Rosalina, like, why are you still here? How long has gone by?
And in my mind, I'm just gonna look at her and just be like, "You've been gone for an instant. You only
I'm gonna
moved
just
slightly."
pause. I'm going to pause, and my eyes are going to go pretty wide at you at that.
Are you okay?
After a minute, I'll continue to communicate with you and say, I felt like I was gone for, I don't even know how long.
Now, you're showing me the visions you saw, right?
Bits and pieces of them. I'm showing you, like, the warp and how I was, like, how I was subjected to
Alexis, roll
absolute
willpower.
terror.
You butt.
Yeah, you make it.
At that, after seeing the imagery and everything, do you actually show me the demon?
No.
Victor, can I roll... In the vision itself, can I roll awareness?
No.
Okay. I wasn't trying to spot that demon, but perhaps another. Anyway.
There were definitely other demons I saw. You would have definitely seen demons in there.
Yeah, without a doubt. But I'm going to look at you, and with that, I'm going to sheath my sword and take my brazier off of my back and burn it bright, and just be like, "Let the Emperor's light be your guidance. Amma, Larisian, hold these people back. Tarbuck, you have him, right?"
You see me standing there with both my pistols pulled on him.
I'm just going to stare at the brazier, a little taken aback by it.
Pollonia, come with me.
I will go with her.
And with that, I'm going to pull you back over towards Tarbuck. Victor, if you just want to move her token to, like, right here. Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Just to make it easier, because of tablet, it's like playing on a phone. It sucks.
It's very difficult.
But that's okay if you're right, Mo.
It's slightly better than playing with a phone. And yeah, you can move my token. I can't see them now.
Alright. I just don't want to, tell him to do something that you don't yourself want to do.
Well, I mean, like, you can just take me and throw me off a cliff.
I mean,
basically what just happened to me, right?
Yes. Yes, it is.
I'm unable to throw her off a cliff.
You tried.
Alright, I'm going to look
To
at
be
this
fair,
man.
you should have gotten plus 10 because Pollonia is not very heavy.
You wouldn't have made it even then.
I'm going to look at this man in front of us, and I'm just going to try to tear the information out of his head.
Alrighty.
Can I dominate him and force him to tell us everything? Oh, no, wait, no, I don't want to say it out loud.
No.
Yeah, you should probably just erasure him.
Erasure?
Could also drag him out into the woods.
Erasure, like, or delete his memories of that.
Well, no, not yet. I need to get his memories first. So I'm going to telepathic link to try to siphon what he knows about the living saint.
Also, doesn't erasure only work within a certain time frame? Like, it has to be, 5 minutes times siren?
10 minutes times psi rating.
Yeah, so it's quite a lot of time.
What the heck?
What?
Dude rolled a 1.
Yeah.
At that...
As you attempt to reach into this psyker's mind, you find that his mind is a maze of dead ends and pitfalls. It seems to have been. His mind seems to be quite the fortress. Gates not unbarred or unguarded.
I'm just gonna look at him and just be like, what? And I'm gonna look over to Pollonia. Pollonia, can you?
As you look over to Pollonia, and then glance back at the Psyker, you can see that he seems to be transfixed by Pollonia.
I'm gonna look back at Rosalina. I'm assuming that you've given me some sort of, like, indication about the fact that you want his memory erased.
No, not erased.
Okay.
Get the information of the living saint.
I'll look at him and I will do it again. Can someone go ahead and roll that for me? I would cast it at Psi rating 3, so it would be on an 80.
Wait, let me double check.
Oh, wait, no. It'd be on a 70 because telepathic link's at neg 10.
Let me see. Cast, Psi rating 3. Modifier plus 10 due to the Psi focus. And...
I keep forgetting that.
Oof, I rolled a 72. No, wait. Psychic powers need to succeed. Even though, psychic powers need to succeed even though they are opposed.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So, I'm not able to manifest into his mind. He is shutting himself off. He's the Bastion.
But with this... Sorry?
I was just gonna shake my head no at Rosalina that it's not working.
With that, Tarbuck will look to Rosalina and say, kind of actually reaching into his pocket and pulling out a sharp knife, perhaps more conventional means could be used to extract our information.
Not here. Let's return to the Corvus. These people are upset by our presence at this point.
And with that, Tarbuck will kneel down and look this man right in the eye, and the green coloration of his baleful eye will switch to red as a wolfish grin goes across his face. Of course.
Viggy, as that man tries to walk past me, Amma is going to block him with his spear, which he has now powered up.
Well, he isn't going anywhere right now. Well, actually, the only thing the pilgrims are doing is getting the bodies off the road.
And Norsian would just be watching closely with a bolt pistol in hand.
Larisian, Amma.
Yes.
We have him. We're gonna have to use conventional torture methods to get the information from him. I need the Corvus.
Copy that.
I'm just gonna see you say it.
And I'm gonna look at Pollonia for a second and just be like, I'm sorry for what you went through.
I'm gonna clench my hand again and look at you. And then I'm going to roughly try to speak and say, it's...
Oh, my bad.
It's fine. And I'll look very uneasy as I say it.
Very well. Let's get moving.
Actually, before that we go, as they're doing that, Tarbuck's gonna actually walk over to the ogre and then look at him. Do you have a name?
Huh?
Name.
Oh, you see the ogre, ogrin, tapping his chin as if putting all of his mental acuity into the act of remembering. You hear him look up. You see him look up from his ponderings and shout over towards the pilgrims and say, "Name!" And someone shouts back, Wait, does he mean his own?
I look at them and say, "Yes, I'm trying to get his designation."
Oh, we just call him Dory.
Dory.
I'll just type that into Roll20 chat. There you go.
Love it.
Dory the Explorer.
Actually, and from my backpack, I'm actually going to pull out a shiny coin and offer it to him.
The Ogren takes it into his massive hand, in between two of his massive fingers. He's barely able to get a glimpse at it, as it disappears between his massive fingers.
Thank you.
And he puts it into the pocket of his pants, which probably disappears.
And I look at him and say, "Thank you, Dory."
You see the Ogren shake his head. Not shake it.
Nod.
Nod. Thank you. Wow, that was a brain fart.
It's fine.
Yes,
Dory.
he. God damn it. So, and with that, the Ogren points at the Psyker, giving a up, down thumb motion, as if asking.
So, okay, can I do a logic test to figure out which one does what? Because I don't know if he's saying yes, kill him, or no, or like I need to figure out what he means.
Roll a logic test to see if you can figure out the strange logic of Ogrins.
Luckily, I roll logic on 100, so...
Yeah. Indeed. Even if I'd given you a minus, you were able to figure out that the Ogren is asking whether you got this.
And with that, I give him I shake my head and give a thumbs up.
All right, and he starts walking. Pollonia, as you see the Ogren stomping past you, you can see that he has a tremendous number of gouges in his legs and arms, some of which are still bleeding somewhat.
I'm gonna make a Medicae.
Yes. Indeed.
I got it.
Yeah, you're able to tell that this Ogren, as tough as the wanted toughness of Ogrins is legendary, it is this one seems to be quite on the brink.
I'm going to think to myself, out of one hell and into another.
Well,
I will not say that aloud.
fair enough. So, the Ogren grabs the cart, now laden with corpses as well as the harvest, and he starts dragging it along the road again as the pilgrims move in to assist him.
At that, when I see him grab the cart and start moving, I'm just going to shout, "Be sure that Ogren gets some medical treatment."
We will, my fair lass.
Now, we must bid you adieu.
Ah. Emperor be with you.
Forever
strange.
and always.
Actually, Harvest Father be with you. I keep forgetting their idiosyncrasies.
And at that,
So-
I'm going to look at Tarbuck, grab him, and I'm going to start heading towards the direction of the Corvus.
Victor, as I kind of just roughly toss him over my over my platform, that is my.
Hmm?
I keep my aether scope trained on him and prepare to apply a controlled shock if I sense any psychic shenanigans.
Indeed. Well, in that case, actually, don't you roll tech use on 100 as well? Or does that... Oh no, the cranial implant doesn't work on tech use tests.
Lore and logic.
Lore and logic. Right. Well, in any case, you do that. Roll for me a tech use for that. You can feel that he is... you feel a slow... not a slow, it's a steady stream of psychic energy as he seems to be channeling it into his foot. Into his leg, I should say.
I will apply a controlled shock to his foot.
Fair enough. He takes some damage back. Actually, I'm gonna roll for me a d5. I'm like, this is horse fence level of shock. Yeah, you're doing no damage. You're doing the critical effect. Ow.
Great, you killed him. Thanks, John.
I did no damage.
As John pushes his taser to his leg, the combined psychic energy and electrocution makes his entire body combust.
No, that's why I look. I've learned, if there's one thing I've learned from Queen's Court, you have to be very specific when dealing with.
Haven't you, or haven't there been cases where people have had heart attacks once they got tased?
Yes.
But we're talking, like I said, like a horse fence.
Yeah.
Even that can
just
cause a heart attack.
Go.
So, the fact that you rolled a 5, I'm just going to read this because, as horrific as it sounds, it's not actually damage. The target's leg endures horrific burn damage, fusing clothing and armor with flesh and bone. The target suffers 1 level of fatigue and is knocked prone. Let's see. Reduces movement by half, rounding up for 2d10 rounds.
Good.
So
meaning
he
he tries to run.
Yeah, so his movement is shot to all hell. Yeah. So as you apply the controlled shock, you feel the stream of psychic power end, and he stops healing himself. And as you head back towards the countryside of Nova Bella, is it just me, or is this... Yeah, this could be a little bit... There you go. Much better. Volume has been adjusted. I could barely hear it. So, as you head back towards the Corvus Blackstar, your trip is thankfully uneventful, and you arrive back in the clearing where Amma set the Corvus down. Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna get into the Corvus, clear off a slight spot. Tarbuck, set him here.
I kind of roll him on into it.
Pollonia, I may need you for this.
Right.
But, with all that you've endured, if you don't want to, that is fine.
I'm gonna look down at my hands and look down at or over at him. I should be able to do anything you need.
Tarbuck, be ready to force this man to do what I need done. Amma, Larisian, bring up the boarding ramp.
And if you mind.
Weapons up if anybody gets close. Do not fire on sight, but note that it is a threat.
Understood. Warning shots first.
And at that, I'm gonna open up my backpack and take out the excruciator kit. And I'm gonna start taking out each of the needles that goes into each of the limbs, and just be like, and look at the man and just say,
quick, just letting you know, the excruciator kit is not the same as an excruciator.
oh, do I have an excruciator or an excruciator kit?
I do believe it is the kit. because as the book explains, let me find the exact description for it. Here we go. Gear. It is... No, wait, it's a tool.
I know I have it. Where are you?
I'm pretty sure you do.
Like, I know I have it because I've used it before.
Yeah.
Exterminator. I don't think I wrote it down.
That is strange. I know you have it. At least, I'm pretty sure. Didn't Tarbuck give it to her?
Yeah. So I know I have it.
Yeah. So just type it down. And,
I'll write it down after the episode.
Alright. Yeah, but the description for the Excruciator kit is, while all such kits are used in the gathering of information from unwilling and the unrepentant, each is as unique as its user. Most contain a wide range of blades, needles, chemicals, drugs, barbed hooks, neural probes, thermal prods, and other essential tools needed to extract truth. This is not what the Excruciator is, which is way scarier than all of that.
Well, that's fine. So I have the kit.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna look at Tarbuck and just be like, low voltage into this, but high amps. I want this to be painful.
As you wish.
Now, and I'm gonna look down at the man. Now, I was never good at surgery, and I'm just gonna start looking at the needles and just wiping them off with a surgical cloth. And I always miss veins. I have shaky hands, as you could imagine. Now all of this could be avoided if you simply tell us about this living saint. Do you want me to roll Intimidate?
If you wish.
Where is my Intimidation? I am actually going to spend a command point. Spend a fate and auto pass.
What's your willpower bonus?
Willpower bonus is 5.
Let's see. That is
4.
No, it is 5 because he has unnatural willpower.
Oh wow.
He equals you on degrees of success, and he beats you on characteristic bonus.
All right. Does he say anything?
As you say that, you see that he is still. His gaze has yet to leave Pollonia. Whenever she is in sight.
I'm in sight. I haven't gone anywhere. He's just staring at me.
At that, I'm gonna look at the man, look at Pollonia, and look back at the needles. This could have been easy. And with that, I'm gonna flip the thing in my hand and jab it into him like a knife. Right at the base of his, where his arm meets his collarbone.
Alright, roll Interrogation.
I feel like this might... Yeah. Okay, there we go.
Let's see. He rolls willpower, opposed.
What the frick?
Is this guy?
I don't know, but he's rolling amazing.
I should beat him unless he...
Hold on.
Wow, his unnatural might kick in.
Let's see. If his opponent wins the opposed test, the interrogator gets nothing of worth. You didn't fail by any degrees, did you? No. He wins again by the fact that he is unnaturally willful. You barely... as you jam the knife into him...
Well, needle.
He doesn't even... Sorry, needle, my bad. As you jam the needle into him, he doesn't even flinch. Not even a blink.
And at that, I'm going to take a step back and look towards Tarbuck. And look at Pollonia. Pollonia, do you sense any motivations on him? He's...
I can probe him again. And I will attempt to do so at psi rating. Let's go with 3 again.
Alright.
means I should cast it if I get the plus 10 on like a 60.
Baby, you rolling that?
Sorry, my bad. Here we go.
No, it's fine. Hey, I made it.
He fails.
Finally.
Indeed. So, as Pollonia meets this Psyker's gaze, you find it is as if a floodgate of thought is opened up to you, and you can hear inside of your head, "They do not know, do they?"
What do we not know?
Sorry, it's a conversation, so I'm just gonna keep it going with all of the degrees. They haven't seen what we have seen. The endless beauty that is the Sea of Souls.
Is that it?
I mean, are you going to reply to him?
Reply back to him in his mind? Yeah, I'll reply back to him in his mind. I'll reply back to him that I have seen the Sea of Souls, or seen the Sea of Souls. I have seen the Sea of Souls.
That's quite the tongue twister.
I didn't expect it to be, but it was.
Indeed. And before the link breaks, he tells you, "You have been changed by it, touched by its ever-changing tides, and they will never know what it feels like." And with that, the link breaks.
I'm gonna look over to Rosalina and say, he's witnessed something. Something immaterial. Did you hear me?
Darn it! I was muted that whole time. I apologize. I'm gonna say, was it the saint, or was it something darker?
I'm gonna look down in contemplation for a moment before looking back up at you and saying uncertainly, darker.
And with that, I'm gonna flip the next needle into my hand. And I am actually making this a little bit theatrical, like that I am showing him the needle and how big it is. And I'm just gonna look towards his other arm and just be like, talk.
With that, Tarbuck's gonna raise a hand and say, "My lady, with all due respect, may I attempt something before we go for another go?" Right.
Not yet.
With that, he'll scowl, but nod his head.
I mean, interrogation is kind of the whole basis of my character.
As he acknowledges.
So, I'm gonna stab it into his arm. Babe, do you want me to roll interrogation?
Yes.
Oh my god. This guy is a monster.
He has still yet to break his line of sight to Pollonia.
I'm gonna walk up to him. I'm gonna put my arm on him gently and say, why don't you just tell us what you saw?
At this, he finally breaks his transfixed gaze and looks over at Rosalina. "Tell me, have you seen her?"
The saint?
Aye.
Yes. I need to know her location.
I don't know. We wander the countryside, searching for her glow, but we cannot find it. It is an obsession.
Damn. Didn't pass scrutiny. And at that, I'm gonna start grabbing the next needle.
Uh-oh.
What?
Wait, did you roll scrutiny against what he said?
Yes.
Okay, phew, I was about to say. I thought you misclicked interrogation. Never mind.
No.
No.
Where was the last sighting?
He pokes at his head. He pokes at his temple, I think.
Explain yourself.
I saw her in my dreams.
Open your mind.
Are you gonna attempt to get in?
Yep.
Go for it. Finally, he fails.
Holy cow, this guy has been tough.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I'm going to put my hand on his head and just, eyes glowing, dive into his mind. I also used 4, so...
Yeah, you did. As you do, you see... you feel his head jerk backwards, and his eyes roll up into his skull. As you scramble about inside of his head, you feel his mental defenses start crumbling down, and you can see the glowing light that you saw in your own vision. However, this time the background is different. You can see what appears to be the foothills set up against a great mountain in the distance.
I'm going to start approaching the light.
As you do, its glow starts to ebb as darkness slowly but surely overtakes it. And as everything turns to midnight black, you are ejected out of his head.
And at that, the second I get out of his mind, I'm going to start removing the needles and cleaning them off. You pose no use to us.
He does not reply.
Pollonia,
Yeah.
I want you to go into the cockpit for a moment.
I'm gonna give a concerned look at Rosalina. Why?
I don't want you to see what's about to happen.
I'm gonna look down in contemplation for a moment, and then I'll look back up at you, and then walk out of the room.
Amma, lift up the craft.
Of course.
Larisian, you're in the co-pilot seat, correct?
Of course, Mom.
Open up the doors.
As he does that, he's just going to smack the. He's just going to smack on the shoulder. Well, it seems we're going to get to make good on that bet, James.
Quite.
And he'll do so and open up the doors.
Did Amma take off his mask? Because
No.
I want... Aw, damn it, I want to see his stupid grin. In any case, as the Corvus ascends vertically into the air, the landing ramp is opened out the back, and you can feel the gust of wind whipping about on the inside of the shuttle. Do you lead the man?
I'm gonna lead
Towards
him towards the edge of it and just look at him one more time.
He looks at you, his robe flapping in the wind. There is an intense look of regret in his eyes.
Any last words?
I won't be able to see her again.
May the Emperor have mercy on your soul. And I'm gonna take out my bolt pistol and fire into his head.
-1 ammo.
I already did it.
And as his skull bursts, his lifeless body falls down out of the Corvus Black Star and plummets towards the earth.
As I'm sure we'd hear the thump of the shot from inside the
Yes,
cockpit,
yes,
right?
you would. Even with a silencer, you would definitely hear it.
Okay, at that, then Larisian will come over the Vox. Rosalina, important question. Did he flap his arms enough to fly?
And at that, I'm just gonna give like a disgusted look. Close the ramp.
Take that as a no, and then he'll do so. Well, it seems I owe you 5 thrones.
And I'm gonna look at Tarbuck.
Raises his eyebrow.
Does he still have? Oh yeah, he has 1. That's right.
He does. How may I assist you?
I need you to draw this, and I'm gonna start describing. Actually, can I use trade performancer to paint?
If you use agility, yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna try this first. I am going to re-roll it, because I think this is important.
Look, I would have had so much fun if you'd kept that roll.
And Rosalina's gonna take out another piece of paper, flip over her notepad, and start drawing this once more.
Ooh, nice.
Remember, Rosalina's an artist and a dancer.
And a musician, maybe.
Tarbuck will return to his book.
Indeed. As Rosalina draws the vision that she saw inside of the Psyker's head, Tarbuck, I need you to attempt to roll. You can attempt a navigate surface with the +20 from the multi-compass.
Yeah, actually, before that, Tarbuck will look up to his book and look to Rosalina. Rosalina, how do we know we did not just kill that living saint's friend?
That is a risk we'll have to take. Besides, somebody that can resist an excruciator kit that well, something's loose in his mind.
Perhaps. I just pray that we did not incur a saint's wrath.
Alright, that was solid. I'll give you that.
That was A+.
That was good. Anyway, I'm just gonna look and just be like, no. I'm sure what we are doing is the correct path. And at that, I'm gonna holster my bolt pistol. Now, look outside to the mountains. Do you think that you can find this location?
As Tarbuck inspects your drawing, he is able to draw upon enough landmarks to make an educated guess as to where you could look. He's able to, through a process of elimination, figure out which mountain range this definitely isn't, as there's a rather large mountain range in the center of the continent, which reaches all the way to the ocean on the other side. And he can see that there are large foothills near near one of the mountains edge, near the mountain range's edge. And considering everything else that you described to him, it is your most likely destination. Well, that is to say, if a vision of a of an insane man is to be believed.
It's the only lead we have.
And with that,
It is a rather large area, but it's better than scouring the entire planet.
Victor, can I check the multi-compass to see like a predicted weather forecast?
Does it do that?
I mean atmospheric pressure.
Let me check. Just let me real quick check the description of the multi-compass, because I am curious about this. Let's see. Multi-compass. Here we go. While exploring new worlds, a device of this ancient attack pattern is indispensable, but few have the means or influence to acquire one. That is true. After a few seconds of analyzing planetary data, a multi-compass can display direction, show topographical maps, point out compass bearings, indicate altitude, and much more. I will take this as a much more.
Yeah.
And yes, currently there seems to be a storm. There seems to be a storm brewing up further in the mountains near the ocean. Though, if the meteorological data, holy crap, that was quite the pull. Is any reliable? It should be heading in the other direction than the one you're heading in.
And the temperature, are we expecting bitter cold, extreme heats?
Well, no, it's actually seems to be a perfect growing temperature, which, funnily enough, happens to be where humans can live too.
Okay, so I was just making sure there was no anomalies affecting the weather.
No, there are not. None that you're picking up, at least.
Indeed. And with that, Tarbuck will nod to Rosalina. It seems we are clear to land. There is a storm nearby, but it should not interfere with our action.
Perfect. Take us in. Amma, Larisian, you have your heading.
Indeed, Tarbuck sends the navigational data straight into the Corvus. What the hell? God damn it! I shouldn't swear.
The cogitator.
Cogitator. Thank you. Wow, man, I really should know that. You send the navigational data into the Corvus's onboard cogitator, and Amma is able to set the autopilot.
What do you mean? What do you mean autopilot?
I mean, it's just a straight flight.
Nope, he's flying.
I'm flying.
Fair enough.
I'll hold it.
Well, while Tarbuck slightly moves up there.
I tell a lie. A 40k autopilot is a servitor, and you don't have one.
I mean, Larisian's dumb enough to be one.
Hey, he's smart now. He's got a what is?
He's got a brain. He took one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. He bought some intelligence. He's not the dum-dum anymore.
While that all happens, I'm going to try to find Pollonia.
I'm in the cockpit.
Wait, how many people do we have in the cockpit right now?
Three currently.
I didn't go to the cockpit.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm going to call to Pollonia over the comms and just be like, Pollonia, can you assist me with something?
Without responding, I'll just step out.
And I'm going to try to walk to the furthest part of the crew compartment of the craft.
I'll go ahead and follow.
Are you feeling okay?
I'm gonna look around as if I'm not sure, like, how to answer that question, and then look back at you and say, well, this is real, right? This isn't just an apparition meant to deceive me.
I can tell you this right now. I am real.
Roll scrutiny, Mope.
The Emperor's light protects me. His words are one of the only thing that I have. Babe, you have to roll for Mope.
Oh, right.
For what?
Scrutiny.
Scrutiny.
Oh, yeah. You should probably roll to Alexis, but based on my reaction.
Let's see.
That's a 4 out of 59. I can tell you this.
I can tell you this. She seems to be telling the truth. I just wanted to see
she's
if...
not.
She's not?
No.
That this isn't real?
No, Rosalina is very uncertain.
Well, that's just not helpful.
Babe, let me actually roleplay? Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
So, as you look at Rosalina's face, you see a moment of doubt in it. As she starts explaining the Emperor's light protecting her.
Rosalina, have you ever seen the Emperor?
Through depictions and texts. But physically, no.
And I'm just gonna quiet myself and look down at that.
You've seen what we're against, right?
I'll look back up at you and say, Rosalina, I've seen so many things.
And at that, Rosalina's gonna slightly tilt her head and think back to the demon trying to barter with Rosalina for her body. Yeah. The enemy will stop at nothing to try to get here, to get us.
Rosalina, when did you realize demons were real?
When I first laid eyes on one, back on Desolium.
You didn't try to rationalize that at first?
Of course I did. Mutation in the human genome. Mutant. Maybe a witch using the warp as some sort of illusion. But no. The answer became clear to me when I finally killed it.
These things, I still don't even know how to think of them. I thought they were just, like, from stories.
And the second you say that, you're gonna see Rosalina's eyes slightly glare up. And she's gonna send you a telepathic message.
I will not resist.
She's
So
gonna
successfully.
she's gonna show you the demon with Crimson and Riza. But Riza is actually, like, perfectly healthy.
And Pollonia needs to roll a willpower test. We'll roll it for you.
Okay, I appreciate that, thank you.
Do you want me to re-roll that?
What did I get?
65 out of 50.
No.
Alrighty.
Do I have to take a shock now?
No, you just get 3 insanity and 3 corruption.
More?
Yeah. You
Crap.
you keep looking at demons and stuff.
Oh, babe, she does get plus 10 from me.
That still wouldn't be enough.
Yeah, I'd still fail
Yeah.
it and take that.
Sorry, I tried.
It's okay.
Indeed.
That demon. It offered me everything that I ever wanted. A way to heal my daughter. And at that, I'm going to look over at Riza, who's just been sitting in the back seat of the Corvus the entire time.
Her feet dangling off the seat.
I'll look over at Riza, and then I'll look back at Rosalina. So, why did you refuse it?
And you see, for a moment, Rosalina, like, slightly tears up before clearing herself. That isn't... It wasn't right. I will never bother with the great enemy. Even if it is my only chance at saving my daughter.
I'm gonna look down again, and then I'll look back up at you again. Well, here's another question I have. Rosalina, have you ever seen an angel?
And at that, she's gonna look and slightly smile. Yes. And that's what we're hunting down now.
I'm gonna look at you, almost in disbelief. Where did you see it?
I used a device meant for an astropath to send messages. And I dove into this planet, checking each and every single psyker, and one was golden. A halo formed around it. I felt safe when I was looking at it. She is on this planet, near these mountains, and I'm going to show you the picture, which is drawn out with like a pencil. Very well done. Way better than I could do in real life.
I'm gonna pause for a moment before speaking up again. You know, Rosalina, I've seen in a lot of biological systems, it's when prey is most convinced that it's safe, that it's the easiest to consume and capture.
That's the reason we have to protect this saint.
Rosalina, what if that feeling of safety is just to lure you in?
Then we show them the Emperor's fury.
Seems like you have a lack of caution.
Unfortunately, in this situation, we don't have much of a choice. If we were to leave a living saint and they were to die, that would be on mine. That would be on my mind.
Do I know the term living saint, Viggy? I don't have knowledge Ecclesiary or knowledge Imperium. I have knowledge Ascalon.
Everyone... Technically, everyone... It's the same as having heard the Emperor's Angels of Death and knowing that Space Marines exist, but you don't know anything about them.
Okay,
So,
fair enough.
Living saints, like, even though you don't have common lore Imperium, everyone knows that the Emperor is a thing.
It's
So-
not because it's not lore. It's just knowledge.
It's not lore, it's common knowledge. Everyone knows that the Emperor exists. Everyone knows that his Primarch sons exist. It's if you can hear about it in a church being preached to you, then it counts as common knowledge. And yes, living saints are indeed among them. Though they do sound mythical indeed.
I'm just gonna look at Rosalina then and say, well, Rosalina, I only encourage you to exercise caution. I hope we're not being lured astray. Because I've never seen an angel, and sometimes things are a bit, or some things seem too good to be true because they aren't true.
Have you felt astray from his light?
Wait. Say that again?
Or let me rephrase that. Have you strayed from his light?
I'll put my hands together and kind of clench them and say, well, I was never as pious as you. I never took any of this stuff as literally as you did. I grew up being mostly involved with science. I didn't take stories of angels or demons as being real until I'd seen one and I couldn't deny what it was anymore.
And has that forced your hand?
I'm not sure.
And at that, Rosalina's going to show a sign of slight relief.
And Amma,
Yes.
on the horizon, you can see what appears to be a village dotting the countryside. Its houses built low, and a small wooden wall surrounds it.
I'm gonna note this out to Larisian. Do you see this?
Indeed he does.
Do you mind telling them that what we're seeing? I need to focus on the flying.
Noble? Yeah.
Yeah, what was it? Sorry, I don't.
Hello?
Hello?
Pay attention, Noble.
I have been. I had to do a thing.
He cut out for me. That was it. Okay, yeah, there's a small village on the horizon, and Amma pointed it out and asked you to inform the rest.
Okay. Then, yeah, I would key the microbead. It would seem we have a village up ahead.
Is the mountain range in view?
As the Corvus flies closer towards the village in the direction that you're heading, you can see the mountain range in the distance as it crests the horizon.
Ah, yes, it would seem so.
Set us down by the village. The people may know.
Very well. And he'll look over to Amma. Did you get that?
Yes.
Then take us.
As the Corvus flies closer to the village, Amma sets it down in one of the empty fields outside. And hello?
There, that's better.
Hey,
Okay.
For me.
Yeah, apparently I was echoing. So, as the Corvus sets down once again, you, those that exit can see a humble little village built mostly of lumber, and its roofs poking above the wall that surrounds the village. You see smoke coming from the chimneys. Babe, you okay?
Sorry, had to cough.
Ah, okay. So, Does anyone exit the Corvus?
Of course.
Sure.
Alright. Those of you that do, you see that there is a group of children playing outside of the wall. They seem to be tossing some kind of ball made out of some kind of hide between them.
Tarbuck will actually let out a small smile and look to Pollonia. Oh, I remember making toys like that for Loraya when she was but a child.
It's weird to see children outside of the city walls. It must be peaceful.
And as he kind of looks over to the Corvus. For now, at least.
I'll follow your gaze and nod wordlessly.
As the Corvus, as the children finally notice, actually they would have noticed it by now, but when they do notice the people coming out, coming down the landing ramp, they stop their game and start staring over in your direction, the ball rolling away without anyone attempting to pick it up. They seem quite stunned at this strange occurrence.
They do not seem to be panicking.
No, not panicking, but they seem to be in awe and or dumbstruck. Am I echoing for anyone else?
No.
Oh, sorry, Pri. I was just. For some reason, I read your message again and completely forgot that I had already fixed it. Never mind. All right.
Oh, just to mention really quickly, Rosalina's going to exit last with Risa by her side.
Indeed. As Rosalina exits, the kids, one after another, start pointing at Risa, and before you know it, all of them have their tiny fingers pointed in her direction, as if they don't quite believe it.
And I'm gonna look at them in disgust, like... Risa, stay close.
And she does.
I'm gonna begin making my way towards the town.
As you're going, Lucian's just gonna ask, would you like for me and Alma to stay with the vessel just in case, well, something happens?
I may need the bodyguards.
Very well.
Alma is just going to nod. He's not wearing his mask right now. And Bird is sitting on the shoulder.
Indeed. As you walk past the village wall, one of the kids seems to have finally found his voice and says, Is she an angel?
And at that, Rosalina's gonna stop and almost have a tear in her eye.
I'll look at Rosalina, waiting for her response.
And I'm gonna turn towards the kids and say, she's my little angel.
Can she do miracles?
And at that, I slightly smile.
You see that Risa is looking at the kids, and you can almost sense a trepidation in her. She seems to there seems to be an innate willingness to want to fly over to them.
I'm gonna look at the warband. I'm just gonna say, go ahead without me. And I'm gonna signal to Risa to hand me the boombox and fly over to them, which is an Archaeotech loud hailer for everybody watching.
Yes. It's quite the thing. And with that, Riza hands you, actually, she doesn't hand you, you just take it from her. And Riza flies over towards the group of children, and they stand there, and you can hear them audibly gasping.
And I'm just gonna find is there a bench nearby?
No, but there is a tree stump.
That's perfect. I'm gonna go fix my dress and sit on the tree stump and just watch Riza play.
Indeed. It's a strange thing. It's a strange sight looking at her. She, as much as a cherub can play with other kids, she mostly hovers around them, as if attempting to, in somewhat of a fashion of a sheepdog, corralling sheep.
Well, I remember she still has memories of playing.
Well, that too, but she seems to be playing tag, where everyone is running around.
And at that, Rosalind is just gonna smile and watch.
While this is happening, the rest of the warband enters the village, and you can see that the village itself seems to be mostly deserted, with very few women and elderly moving about with their daily business. Some of them look up from the heat haze of the setting sun, and one of the older gentlemen looks out one of his window and says, "Hello there, strangers."
Good evening.
Might I be asking what kind of strange group as yourselves is doing in our fine village?
Pilgrims.
Pilgrims, you say? Where are you pilgriming from?
What was that big city we're in name?
No, we should give them a different planet. I was gonna say, whatchamacallit, the sector from first edition.
The name of, to answer both questions, the one Tarbuck Knight asked is Recompense, is the main city that you came from, and the Calixis sector is the one Mope is asking about.
Yeah, they were. You can go ahead and say Knight.
No, I was just saying, yeah, let's go with your idea.
Okay. I'll say, we're from Calixis.
Calixis, and you see him scratching his beard. Can't say I've heard of the place. Is it across the Heavenfall Mountains?
I'm gonna give him a quaint look, like and almost like a little bit confused, and say it's around 3 months standard warp travel from here.
At this, there's a look of utter confusion from him. Man, I must be getting old. All I heard was nonsense coming from you.
I'll raise an eyebrow. I'll look back to Tarbuck. And I'm gonna whisper to him. Not like super inaudibly, but like I'm just gonna say the locals here know about warp travel, right?
Doubtful.
Yeah,
having PTSD flashbacks to that Vox machine.
Yeah, for reference, Mope, these people are on a backwater they are in a backwater village on a backwater planet. Their knowledge of their universe is limited at best.
Okay, well, with that in mind, I'm just gonna look back to him and say, "We're from the stars."
Alright, yes, of course. And you see him roll his eyes at this.
I mean, what does he have any reaction when looking at Tarbuck?
He doesn't seem to. He did call your group a strange one.
That's fair. I was asking you because if that would give credibility to her claim.
It probably does. Then again, if there is a piece of technology in here, then this planet's singular tech priest may have wandered by sometime in this decade.
Fair enough.
So, at this, are you looking for a place to rest your head for the night?
Tarbuck will look at Pollonia and kind of nod his head, saying that would be a good way to get a base of operation.
I'll look back to him and say, we'll need 5 rooms.
If you walk a bit ahead, the local Fane Hall should be able to see to your needs. They're always taking in pilgrims.
So, if I may ask, where are we exactly?
You? Oh, you're in the village of Restful.
And what amenities does this town possess?
It's ours is a simple life. We have our sorry, when you say amenities, do you mean
library, school, school,
right,
etc.
Right. We have our Fane Hall. We have our workshop back near the wall, and he points in the direction that you're heading into towards. And that's about it. Mostly we send out our tithe caravans towards recompense.
And what do you provide for the tithe?
The grain, of course. We are not along the ocean, so we don't provide the ocean's bounty. And really, that's 2 things that Novabella provides back to the Emperor's Imperium.
Indeed. What's the population of the town? How many people are there? And who's in charge?
He scratches his head at this. Let's see. I believe my Sandra gave birth to twins the other day, so you see him counting on his fingers. I believe there's 62 people now.
And with that, he'll nod. And do you have a chieftain or overseer, etc., someone who is coordinating if?
There is the local seed scribe, but no, not really. We mostly we know what we must do, and we do it.
I have no further questions. Thank you for your cooperation.
I'll nod at him as we walk off.
Emperor's bounty be with you.
The Harvest Father be with you.
I keep forgetting that. I should be saying Harvest Father's bounty be with you. Man, I keep forgetting these people's mannerisms.
And as we go on, Lewison will just make the Aquila.
Indeed, and the old man makes it back to you. You, as you walk further into the village, which very shortly brings you to the other side of it, where you can see the local Fane Hall, you draw a number of curious eyes, as you are quite the oddity in this place.
I'm gonna mention under my breath to Tarbuck. At this point, we've probably alerted the entire town.
And with that, he'll actually take off his gas mask and chuckle at this. I believe it would be unavoidable at this point.
It's the disadvantage of small settlements.
So, As you approach the Fane Hall, you can see that there is a older seed scribe that walks out to greet you. His balding head and almost chest-length beard have both started to gray, and he opens and he greets you with open arms as he says, "Greetings. I heard you were pilgrims on the way, but I must admit I have never seen pilgrims of this oddity." And he scans over the four of you.
Indeed.
Just because we all come from a different walk of life doesn't mean we can all are not people of the faith.
No, I suppose you don't. None of you look local, and I can't say I've had much experience with anywhere else, really.
I'm gonna raise an eyebrow at him and say, I'm actually a surgeon from off-world, so it's understandable that I don't fit your custom.
I see. And at this, he pauses for a moment and says, "Wait a minute. Does that mean that the tithe ships are back?"
A work in progress, sir. There is word that it is being looked into.
We're with the
Yes.
we're with the Ecclesiary, not the black ships.
The black ships?
Oh. Yeah.
The black ships are what picks up tithes, right?
They pick up the sacred tithe.
Yeah, they don't. The Munitorum picks up the actual material tithe.
The Administratum picks up.
Right, I always get the two confused because they're so similar.
Oh yeah, the Munitorum
that's
is a
fine.
subsection of the
Anyway.
Administratum.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll rephrase and say that we're with the Ecclesiary, not the Ministorum.
You mean the Administratum?
Yes, because the Ministorum is the. I hate Latin.
The Ecclesiarchy is the Ministorum. Man, the Imperium is such a wonderful bureaucratic mess.
This frickin' Latinized bureaucratic nightmare.
That's great.
Dang it.
But anyway, yeah, I'm telling him we're with the church, not with the government.
Yes.
We're not to step on snack.
Of course. Praise be. This damnable silence has finally been broken. Please, come inside. You must be tired after a long journey.
What's your name?
Seed Scribe Karsik. Pleasure to meet you.
Karsik.
I'll type his name.
Alright. So
Didn't we
probably...
talk to this guy?
No, you haven't.
Okay.
Never met. You've never met him. You've never met this man.
Seed Scribe Skarsnik over here.
He's just three goblins in a trench coat.
But no,
you want schemes? I got schemes.
But no, as they say, I actually say, who's overseeing the workshop? As you can guess, there's something else.
The workshop. Oh, yes. That would be Dantiork.
Dante Orc?
God damn it! I'll type it in. It's actually there you go, Dantiork.
Oh, Dantiork.
Yeah.
I
kind of stole his name.
Fair enough. And I will actually go on the combat. Rosalina was securing lodge for the night if you need for when you are finished with your activity.
You just get a note, a slight message back. Just Rosalina, almost calm, which is weird for her. Yes, take your time, Tarbuck.
Tarbuck out. And I look to Pollonia almost a sign of relief. But then he kind of raises his eyebrow. How are you feeling, Pollonia?
Well, Tarbuck, if I'm being real with you, I'm considering the thought of sleeping for the first time in what feels like an eternity. And to be honest with you, the idea of letting myself lose consciousness again sounds a bit frightening.
Is there perhaps a medication or... And actually, what would I need to roll to detect like the trauma of witnessing the warp, as because Tarbuck also has had an encounter like that?
That would be a Medicaid test. However, it would be a psychology test.
Which is, what's the difference?
That's just a Medicaid. It's medicine just of the brain. Well, of the human psyche, I should say.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Tarbuck, you're able to notice that Pollonia seems to have developed a few nervous tics.
Similar to my own?
No, these seem different somehow. It's she seems to be clenching her fist at random intervals. Not in a what's it called? She's not actually hurting herself when she does this. It's just it seems to be an involuntary reflex she has now.
And with that, he nods. So, perhaps some incense or other means could be used to give you a fruitful sleep?
I think I should be fine. I'm gonna look at Tarbuck again. I wish I was at more liberty to discuss these things. I don't feel I should go too into detail with the company we're surrounded by.
And with that, he says, perhaps when we return, you can talk to me in the Rogue Traders Archive.
I'll explain everything that I can to you.
With that, he nods and says, well, while you're gathering lodging, I'm going to head towards the workshop to examine that. Maybe something fruitful could be found. Tarbuck is pretty blatantly lying. He just wishes to scrutinize their workshop.
Fair enough. I can set aside getting the rooms for us. Have you heard back from Rosalina?
She is taking a moment to recuperate, which is for the best, I suppose.
I see.
That fight out there was intense.
I'm gonna blink for a moment like I forgot there was a fight, and then nod and say, right.
And as he nods his head, he pulls out a cigar, puts it in his mouth, and you hear as he lights up the cigar.
As you do so, I'm gonna look back at you and say, you know, Tarbuck, your physical body is not going to last much longer with those habits.
And he kind of looks at you, and his eye kind of droops down and says, we all have our own ways of handling it.
Besides, he has bionic respiratory system and a filter.
Well, that's the thing. He's not even doing it for like the nicotine. He's doing it because it's the
social thing. Yeah,
not even the social thing. It's almost like a tick. It's a habit he does because it makes him feel better with the fact that he's getting old and has to realize that his biological parts might have to be replaced for him to survive.
That is true.
Which is probably a small comfort.
I mean, I'm not gonna have her say anything more in character about it.
Fair enough. Tarbuck is going to... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, but before he leaves, he offers one of his arms to embrace Pollonia if she'll...
I will. I'll hug him. And then I will immediately, like, almost kind of regret it and be a little bit stunned when I am reminded of how mechanical you really are.
Yeah, his embrace is a bit pointier than you remember.
And colder.
Yes,
Indeed.
a far cry from his previous impressions. And as he walks off, he stops for a moment and turns and looks to Alma and Larisian. You two behave.
Oh, of course, Dad.
Alma is just going to look at you with a dead stare, like,
Blank expression.
yes.
And as he looks at Larisian, I said, "If I was your father, I would have had the tube decommissioned."
Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have laughed at that.
That Larison's just going to smirk and start walking off back towards the exit that they entered from.
Insert air horns.
Bow, 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 bow.
But no, he will finally make his way to the workshop.
Indeed. That's Go ahead, Noble.
I was just gonna say Larison's gonna walk out of the settlement towards where they left Rosalina.
All right. Let's handle Larisian first. As Larisian strolls back out of the village, you catch some of the women folk seem to be as soon as you look at them, they avert their gaze, but out of the corner of your eye, you can see that they are sneaking a glance.
Oh boy.
But I'm sure you don't have time for any such nonsense.
Time can be made, but anyway.
And you exit the main gate, and you can see a bit further away, in between the Corvus and the village, you see Rosalina sitting on a tree stump, and the group of children playing alongside Riza.
You also see Rosalina holding the boombox.
That too.
He's gonna walk up to her just slowly, just because this is something he doesn't really see out of her. And he's just gonna be very silent about it. Should I roll stealth?
She seems unusually peaceful, and if you don't want to be seen, you can roll stealth.
It's not as much being seen as being heard, but yeah, I'll roll anyway.
Yeah, if you don't want to make a sound, you can do that. Alexis, roll an awareness just to see... Oh, you did, and you failed. If you, Noble, you can just appear to her, appear at her side if you want to.
He'll just stay there for a second before...
Oh, can I describe the scene really quickly?
Go ahead.
Rosalina has the boombox on her lap. She has her arm resting on top of it, and she's watching Riza. And for once, she's actually smiling, just watching her child play. She doesn't even seem to notice you, at all.
Well, Rosalina, this is probably the most peaceful I've ever seen you.
Roll willpower for me, Alexis.
See if I get scared.
See if you get spooked. You don't. I was gonna have you.
She's gonna slightly jump for a second and then look over and just be like, "How long have you been here?"
Only a few seconds. I was honestly tempted not to disturb you because it's much like watching. Well, I can't really describe it in words you would understand, but a predator at peace, so to say.
Odd analogy, but I think I get your meaning. And she's just gonna keep watching her kid. Riza seems almost happy. On Provoska, she used to play all the time. I used to spend hours with her at the parks. We lived a good life back before it happened.
see. I take it she probably had many friends.
Tons. Being the daughter of a rich family awards you a certain amount of... Needless to say, people treated her a lot better than they treated each other.
Well, of course, that's something me and you would both understand. In that realm of God. Although it always makes it a bit hard to tell who are your friends and who are just simply there for the... Well,
look at these kids. Normal people look at reason, fear and disgust. Some look at her as just a mere servitor. I see my daughter.
And these children see her as an angel?
Apparently.
It is fascinating.
And with that, she's gonna just keep calmly watching and just keep an eye on the children.
And with that, you hear a woman from standing in the near the main gate shout, "All right, children, time to come inside. We're closing the gate soon." And the kids pick up their ball and run over to one of them, actually, a young girl with some dirt in her hair, runs up to you and says, "Thank you for letting her play."
And at that, I'm just gonna smile. "Of course, dear."
And she runs off. Her dress, in quotation marks, it's more of a smock than anything else. And she runs back towards the gate and joins the rest of the kids as they funnel through the main gate.
I'm just gonna, as Riza comes floating over to me, I just want to see her expression on her face. Is it any different?
It is slightly different. Her mouth hasn't changed. Her mouth doesn't change at all. However, you can see that her remaining biological eye is, while not showing any sign of life in it, it is slightly more open than it is usual.
Lewison's just going to look down to Rosalind as the kids walk off, and Riza comes back, just trying to gauge her own reaction to it all.
Rosalina's just gonna smile and hug her daughter. Come on, Riza.
Riza hugs her back, though mostly out of muscle memory.
Come on, Riza. We have to get inside now.
And with that, the three of you walk/hover towards the main gate, and
it's
the
definitely
woman.
Larisian that's hovering.
As the three of you reach the main gate, you walk inside, and the woman closes the gate behind you, where two men stand ready to bar the gate for the evening. And with a loud thunk, the heavy wooden beam slots into place, and the gate has been secured for the night. Now, moving back, as we smash cut over to Tarbuck, you see, Tarbuck sees before him a building that is larger than the rest around it, and you can hear a scraping sound coming from the inside, and the smell of wood dust? Yeah, wood dust. There we go. A what?
Sawdust?
Sawdust, yeah. Yeah. And the smell of sawdust fills the air. There are two doors slightly ajar. Man, do I hate using that phrase. And you can hear a commotion from the inside.
Just out of habit, I'm gonna send a small binary ping out.
There is no reply.
As expected, but courtesy. And I will on the door.
You hear the commotion of the inside stop for a brief moment, and you hear someone shout, "Oh, just come inside. The door's open."
With that, he will skitter inside.
As you enter, you can see a broad-shouldered man in a leather apron working at a bench nearby. He seems to be polishing some kind of cabinet. I actually forget. There's this thing where it's sandpaper. Yeah, let's go with that.
Or a
Sandpaper.
belt saddle.
Yeah, he doesn't have a belt sander. He just has sandpaper, and he seems to be as you walk inside, he stops what he's doing and looks around, and you can see him almost jump when he notices what kind of thing is in seems to have entered his workshop.
And with that, I hold my hand out.
Harvest Father's beard, what are you?
A pilgrim.
Are you sure?
With that, he does the sign of the Omnissiah. A pilgrim of the Adeptus Mechanicus, sir.
You're one of those tech priests. Wait, did we get a new one?
No, sir. I am just here on pilgrimage.
Ah.
And with that, he feigns ignorance, snapping his finger. Oh, what was the designation of this planet's tech priest?
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Lothos, I think his name was. If I remember correctly, he let me type it out. There you go. No. It should be O. Let me type that out again. I mistyped it. Lothos. There we go. Yes, he visited some time ago, though I must admit he didn't look quite like you, as he gestures all over Tarbuck's frame.
Well, I hope he is doing well. Where does he reside in normally?
I didn't bother asking last time he was here, and that was years ago. He usually travels around the countryside and makes sure that whatever machines we do have, as few as they are in good condition.
Was it 15 years ago by any chance?
No, I believe it was last growing season.
Do I need to make a logic check, or can I guess it's like, what, a year?
It's about a year and a half.
Okay.
Because it's currently the harvest season.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's talking about spring.
Of course. And I look at him and say, and your name is?
Oh, name's Dantiok. Pleasure to meet you. He holds out his hand and he moves it up and down as if unsure which hand to grasp.
One of them grabs his hand and shakes it. Tarbuck, a pleasure to meet you.
Forgive my stuttery speech. This is quite the new experience for me. Well, please, welcome to my workshop, but I'm not sure what brings you here.
I heard there was a workshop here and thought I could lend my assistance while I was here. Maybe in just a little bit of small talk, as I'm quite unfamiliar with this.
I guess you could help, though I'm not sure how. Though then again, many hands do light work, and I see you've taken that quite literally.
And they say, and I say, I could help you sand down this cabinet. Beautiful craftsmanship, actually.
Oh, thank you. I've been working on it for quite some time. It's what's it called? It's a new mother's gift for my Sandra. She just gave birth to twins.
So I've heard. I hope the birth had no complications.
No, I believe it went fine. She is merely resting now.
Of course. And with that, he kind of smiles and says, "Mothers are certainly a wonderful thing, aren't they?"
He seems taken aback by this sudden change. Not change of topic. It's just a strange thing to say. I guess so. Yes, they are quite wonderful. As he makes the sign of the Aquila.
Which I return with the Kaga the Omnisire.
Yeah.
And as I kind of take some sandpaper into three hands and begin kind of assisting him, and as we're doing, look at him. So, has anything strange been happening lately? I noticed you closed your gates rather quickly.
We've been... the sun has started to set a bit earlier, so we make sure that none of the tithe bandits can get a chance of entering the town.
Oh yes, we ran into plenty of those on the road. Are they organized or just hearsay, or here and there?
I wouldn't know. I haven't bothered asking any of them, and Harvest Father cursed them for their thievery. He spits on the ground.
And with that, and Tarbuck smiles. Well, you'll be happy to know that we ran across some, and I kind of open up one of my hands and show him a few arcs of lightning. They did not withstand.
Ha! I see. Then Harvest Father's blessings upon you for delivering those beside.
I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this question. Everything seems at peace. I'm hoping this has been a constant occurrence.
As opposed to...
unrest.
No, I can't say that our village has... I must say our village has enjoyed quite the many years of peace. Aside from the tithe bandits on the road, it's been it's been mostly peaceful. You can roll a scrutiny check for me on that against fellowship with a plus 10. With plus 10.
Ah, jeez. You know what? Just for the sake of it, I'm gonna re-roll it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
No.
I got nothing.
No.
If it was intelligent, if it was perception, I had a chance.
Yeah, unfortunately, no.
I will shrug and say, "Oh, that's good." As I kind of begin polishing any kind of the handles on it, and
at this he will, after a momentary pause from his last remark, he says, "There has been, of course, the refuge that Talia set up not far from here."
Talia, who's that?
Oh, that's Dorothea. She's one of the seed scribes. She set it out in the wilderness, and she takes in whoever needs help on the road. I don't know why she did it.
Is seed scribe the Latin term for botanist?
No, seed scribe is the local term for priest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll look to him and say, Oh, I was kind of curious. When was the last time the Harvester Prelate, I believe it was, showed up?
Oh, Barahona, you mean?
Big Kahona, yes.
Oh, he showed up last. He showed up during sun season.
Does he travel with Lothos, or are they separate? Are they separate entities or separate?
No, I don't believe he does. I believe he travels alone. Rumor would have it that he travels the countryside and aids the commoners, such as us, in our daily tasks as he helps us harvest the Harvest Father's bounty. Reap the Harvest Father's bounty, I should say. That was poorly worded.
Indeed. And I was going to ask, how long has that refuge been put up?
Oh, it's been up for, let's see, it's been almost 4 years now. Actually, no. I'm thinking out loud. Never mind. Keep going.
Oh, also, if anyone has a question they want me to ask this man, please let me know.
Yeah. If anyone wants to talk through Tarbuck, go right ahead. Out of character, that is.
Yes. Because I am bound to miss stuff.
Yeah, Rosaline is focused on being happy with Lisa.
Well, yeah, but this is
Fair enough.
This is Knight asking Alexis or anyone else if they want to ask through him.
Oh, does he know anything about the Living Saint?
Yeah, I was gonna answer that. I'm trying to figure out the best way to word this
Without
because
giving,
I don't know.
Giving it away.
Well, I'm trying. If you notice, I'm softening. Tarbuck is softening up with small talk, and just to make it sound like it's another.
Right. In that case, he will say that he will add after his latest comment. I'm sure that Karsich could answer some more of your questions. He is, of course, her peer.
So, I don't think I need to roll a logic test, but it would seem that if I was going to ask a question about the Saint, it would not be for this guy. It would be with this refuge lady.
He probably wouldn't know.
And actually, with that, he'll say, "She certainly sounds like a saint."
At this, he looks up from his work and actually he stops his work and looks up and says, yeah, I suppose she is. It's... then again, she does her duty to the Harvest Father, and that is all that anyone can ever ask.
And actually, with that, I will, to kind of end the scene, Tarbuck will pull out his combi tool and show it to the gentleman and say, would you like me to do some engraving on this project?
What in the blazes is this? As he looks over at the various appendages on the multi-tool.
Progress, my friend. Progress.
And he, do you hand it to him?
I do hand it to him.
He takes the grip of the multi-tool and attempts to acclimate himself to wielding it, as he's unsure what half of these seem to do.
And I say, with this, we could have this thing engraved and embroidered by the end of the night.
If you'd care to show me, then I would be much obliged.
I will, just for the sake of it.
There you go. And you're able to teach him how to use the multi-tool.
Yep, combi tool.
Combi tool. My bad.
And Tarbuck will spend the night with this gentleman, like helping him get his projects done.
Bow chicka wow wow. Anyway.
I don't have one of those.
First you show some combi tool, and then
It's okay, you got a combi tool.
At least I have at least my nose is real.
Cease. Anyway, as Tarbuck spends his evening, everyone else, actually it's Amma, Rosalina, and Larisian, who are gathered in the Fane Hall. I'm guessing Pollonia went to sleep at some point.
Yeah, at some point she would have gone to sleep. And, like, she would have set up the beds, too, to get everyone so they can go sleep.
Yeah. The Seed Scribe, Karsikt, has set up one of the side chapels with at least adequate bedding.
You just gotta stick me in a chapel.
I mean, that's where you are.
I'm taking you to church, Mope.
Oh no! Would you believe me if I told you right now I'm in a house of church?
Ha! Get it.
Ah.
That's good.
Oh, good joke, good joke. So, in that case, with Pollonia having gone to sleep, what is the rest of the three of you doing currently? What are the three of you doing currently?
Alright, Pri, this is all on you.
What?
What?
What are we doing, Pri?
I am confused.
What Alma is doing is probably laying down in bed and sleeping because he's still hurt from the fight.
Yeah, Rosalina is too.
Fair enough. Is everyone going to sleep except Larisian?
No, I'm not sleeping.
Well, you're not back yet.
Rosalina's just gonna kind of sit outside on a porch. Riza not there with her. Riza's gonna be in the bed.
Yeah. She's currently lying down on one of the beddings.
both, yeah.
Fair
I would
enough.
say, if that's the case, then I would say Larisian would probably be around somewhere nearby, just fumbling with this flask.
Fair enough. Rosalina, you see Larisian leaning against the side of the Fane Hall as he is, what did you say he was doing? Sorry?
Fumbling with his flask, because he keeps a flask on him.
Fair enough. You see Larisian attempting to drink.
I was gonna look over at him and just look back up at the stars and everything.
You're gonna hear the flask just hit the ground and it just kind of like the throne, and he'll just lean down and pick it up. This is getting very difficult.
You're still blind?
With one eye, yes.
I told
It's
you
meant
aboard
to-
the ship to have Tarva craft you another one.
That's currently being done.
Yeah, Rosalina
Yeah.
doesn't understand timing.
Oh. Well, Rosalina, by honest. Well,
Sorry.
It's fine. Well, Rosalina, Bionics took a little bit of time to make, and well, you said that right before we came here. So-
Fair enough.
All I have is this, and he's gonna tap the eye patch, and you're gonna hear a like glass conk, I guess, from the glass eye that's there. I have to say it makes doing what I do very aggravating, but, well, my mother didn't raise no, what is the phrase, quitters?
And at that, she's just gonna nod her head and just keep looking up.
Something drawn your attention? Yes, as he just kind of looks up at the stars as well.
The light that I saw when I saw that saint was a golden light like a sun.
Like that of the Emperor? Or...
I'd assume that his light is the same. I've read text after text. I used to teach this stuff. And I never thought that I'd see it.
And how do you feel now that you have?
You're back.
Well, I have to find it first. I only caught a glimpse. And I know if I caught a glimpse, others have. Maybe even the great enemy.
As you say that, he's just gonna kind of glance about just to see if anybody's that much around. Are you saying that they could be in danger?
Without a doubt. I have a feeling this entire planet is in danger. Call it a hunch.
Oh, I understand that much. I've had a bad feeling aching in my bones since we got here. Something's just always felt off, like... Don't really know how to place it, but...
And the use of this bizarre weapon is troubling to me. Then at that, she signals over to her waist, which has the Xenos blade.
Well, I would assume so, you are. Well, unaccustomed to it. You're not, and it has certain... What is the word I'm... Emotional value to how you acquire circumstances there. And
I'll have to have Marno give me a couple more lessons with it.
are you sure she would be willing to teach you?
More than likely. We seem to have a thing or two in common.
Oh,
Granted, learning from a Xenos is not my first choice, but considering that she is the only one who could possibly teach me this weapon, I don't know. I'm distracted.
When you say that, he's just going to look at the weapon and then kind of just look at you with a bit of a furrowed brow. Well,
just to interrupt, I have dinner in front of me, so I'm going to mute my mic while I eat. I will, however, say that as Larissa and Rosaline are talking, they hear the tick, tick, tick of Tarbuck's footsteps approaching.
Oh, okay. Just a real quick thing. Due to how much he knows the Craftworld Eldar, would he be able to identify that that blade is not of Craftworld origin?
It is. That's the Slith blade, right?
Mm-hmm.
That thing is certainly not Eldar.
Okay. Then, yeah, he just kind of... Well, I personally doubt she'd be able to help that much, as seeing as that's not even of her people.
No, it's of the Slith. She is a Corsair. But still, the fighting style used by the Slith was very similar to the Eldari's movements.
True enough.
And
Tarbuck has arrived.
She's gonna say but, and then look up to see Tarbuck.
Good evening.
Do you have any news?
I do. Apparently there's well, the gentleman I was talking to did not have information on our living saint. I may have a lead for where we can find one. Someone who might. There's a lady, what was her name? Vicky?
The man called her Tea, and full name apparently was Dorothea.
Okay, so Taya's out there. And she probably has a friend named Joey who's looking for some glasses.
Shush.
But no, it's a, yes, Dorothea. Dorothea seems to... There's a lady named Dorothea down the ways who is running a refuge for the weak and the restless. Who may... It's as good as lead of any who might know what we're looking for.
That'll have to do.
Also, I also show off the pictures of the cabinet we were working.
Rosalina just looks at it like, okay. Go ahead, Nipple.
No, go on.
No, that was it.
Well, in that case, yeah. So, Tarbuck, I didn't take you to downgrade you to working wars. I thought that was more my purview.
Yes, well, if we wanted to talk about low quality, look no further than your name.
Oh, damn.
And with that, he'll move over to Rosalina because the big people are talking. And
the adults are talking. Go to bed, Junior.
Wow. That does hurt, Keith.
And it will say, and he will shake his head. It will, I believe we should ride there at first light of the morning.
Oh, just as you're looking at Rosalina, she actually has the sword in her hand. The edge of it is actually like stabbing into the steps. And she's just kind of twirling it in her hand. Like spinning it so that it spins on the ground and yeah.
And with that, he will say, Rosalina, I wanted to ask you something.
Yes.
His eyes kind of going to the blade. And he kind of holds out his power axe and says, this weapon is a mighty tool of my people. However, I am still not accustomed to, kind of awkwardly moves it around, used to using it, but I've seen you take some of the best swordsmen the Solium has to offer and put them to shame. Would you be... And you see he's kind of struggling.
I laugh at that.
Trying to break his pride by asking, could you assist me in learning how to fight in close combat?
And with that, she looks up and takes the sword, knowing that she has the very same thing just a second ago. And goes, Amma might be a little bit more astute than me when it comes to swords, but I can give it a try.
And with that, he says, to be fair, this is not a sword, as he kind of points to his axe.
I mean, you could bring up that your Rosalina as a teacher, but okay.
Hold on, I was about to. And as he kind of twirls it and stabs the point to the ground, he says, yes, but Amma never taught commissars, did he?
Commissars, Tempestus Scions, and judges. Taught them all at the Scala Progenium. I'll take on this task once we have some free time.
I'm not planning to sleep tonight.
Not tonight. I must rest. And at that, she motions to the cut that she took while in combat.
Yes, and he kind of looks at it and says, I must admit, you need more practice with that sword. I mean no offense, Rosalina, but it was not your best performance.
And with that, she motions over to the other sword. It'll be fine. Now, I'm gonna rest.
By all means. And I'm guessing she gets up, stands up.
She stands up, twirls the blade, puts it into its sheath, or scabbard, and begins to take her leave.
And as she does, Tarbuck will kind of mosey on over and sit up next to... oh, great, the horses are out. We'll settle up next to Larissa and offer him a... You hear a slight whirring sound as a mug is filled, and he offers you a cup of recaf.
He'll accept it, but he'll also look over to Rosalinda before she goes. Well, perhaps, because I'm not intending to rest either due to, again, feeling. Perhaps it would be a good idea if I went and checked out that place beforehand.
It's a bit far away. And they said that the tired bandits are more active at night, so you would put yourself at considerable risk.
That requires them to find
does Larisian wear a Carmeline cloak?
Yes.
Okay. And he kind of looks down. We were in quite a bit of trouble in that last encounter.
And then
and
he's
at
just
this, Rosalina just says, "Do as you will, but keep me informed." And then takes her earpiece out and walks into the building.
What was he going to do? Sorry?
Go. He wants to go scout out the thing.
Which thing?
The sanctuary.
The refuge, you mean?
Yes, the refuse.
Does he know where it is?
No, that was going to be the line of question that followed.
Fair enough. I guess you're going to go investigate that stuff. So, you go right ahead.
But yeah, as you mentioned that the fight was a bit tough, Lewis is just going to kind of gesture to himself, and there's not really a scratch on him.
Yes, although I believe I recall you saying something about they've gotten bigger.
What do you mean by that?
During the fight with those psychos, you seem to have they seem to have warped your perception of reality for a momentary.
Pause? Metagaming?
No, that he was saying. I thought he was saying stuff about that.
No. No.
Or did he just keep it to himself?
Yeah, he kind of just kept it to himself. When he fights, he doesn't always...
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that people knew what they knew.
Okay, that's fair. In that case, Tarbuck will just drink his coffee.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure I can handle myself, plus it shouldn't be much, it's just, well, this world.
Oh, we should just be on alert either way.
Of course. Do you have any idea of where this place could be? This refuge?
I have a general idea, I believe. Did he give me any information, Victor? Like he said it was like to the southeast, right?
He told you it was outside of town, indeed, to the southeast. However, he didn't say how far away it was or anything like that.
Yes.
However, he did mention that the local seed scribe, Parsich, might know about it.
Yes. So.
Yeah. Well, then perhaps I should ask the seed scribe. if he's still awake. And then I'll try and sit out and relay as much information as I find back before morning.
Indeed. As you enter the Fane Hall, you can see the Seed Scribe moving about and lighting votive candles as the soft glow starts emanating around the Fane Hall.
Lewis will just swagger up to him. Good evening, good sir. May I?
Good evening to you as well, and go ahead.
Oh, I just had a bit of a curiosity I wish to ask you about.
Oh, go ahead, ask. I will answer as best I can.
Well, as you know, I myself am a pilgrimer, and, well, I just went for a small bit of a stroll about, and heard say of a place to the, what was it, northeast, known as the Refuge?
At this, he looks over to you and says, Refuge, you say? You mean, oh, you must be talking about, Dorothea's Refuge, of course. You must have heard wrong. It's to the southeast. It's a pet project of hers. She moved out of the village some years ago. I myself took over from her. And she's been out there for years now, and as far as I know, she's still there, helping those that have nowhere else to go. The Belle of Lost Souls, they call her. It's a bit, I must admit, it's a bit grandiose, but there's a ring of truth to it, if you'll pardon my pun.
Nothing wrong with a bit of humour, all in all. But I myself find it slightly fascinating. So, and you said that she still fares there, or at least to your knowledge, she still fares there.
I believe she does, and let's see. He gives you a detailed description of how to get there. It is mostly landmarks. Meaning, mostly landmarks that you would see while on foot, seeing how this man has no way of flying anywhere.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the information, Seed Scribe. You'll bow his head and make the sign of the Equality.
Harvest Father's bounty be with you. And he nods his head, making the half sign of the Aquila, seeing how his other hand is occupied.
With that, Lucian will mosey off into the night.
Indeed, he does. And it is getting... the sun has almost set as Lorisian travels for a good half hour, and he finally reaches a bridge. And beyond that bridge is a strange-looking building. It looks quite remote and, well, vulnerable, to say the least.
Guess he's gonna patch into Tarbuck said he isn't going to sleep, correct?
Correct.
As you tap into the microbead, you get a signal. However, there is slight static, meaning you're on the bleeding edge of the microbead's range.
Oh boy. Alright. Tarbuck, are you still around? We'll see.
I am.
Well, I've arrived, and, well, I must say it's quite a sight.
A slight or a sight?
A sight.
Okay, thank you.
It seems, well, I don't know what to say decrepit, but a bit old, and seems to not be faring its age.
You got it all?
Is there anybody?
You don't see anyone. You can roll for me an awareness test.
Yeah. Which I will be using my aspects with this. So it's a flat test.
Oh.
I'm gonna roll that.
As you... okay.
Yeah.
That is close enough. As you pick up the aspects, you can see that there is indeed a life form being pinged on the display. You also note that there appears to be a smaller blip that's moving about behind the house.
I'm assuming the smaller one could be assumed to be that of an animal, and the bigger one to be that of a human, at least on cursory.
As far as you can tell, maybe.
I'm gonna say he goes off for that or something then. Well, I don't see anybody out on guard, but checking my aspects, there's one within and one behind. Though I'm going to take a guess and say that due to the smaller size of the one behind the building, it's more than likely an animal, is what I would want to say. But, can never be too sure.
Do you approach?
Sure.
As you cross the stone bridge and make your way towards the wooden staircase that leads up to the front door, do you ascend the steps?
Yep.
As you are about halfway up the stairs, you hear a sound behind you. And as you turn around and look, you see what appears to be a small felid. For those in the audience, a felid is just a cat with a brown fur, and its ears have the points of its ears seem a bit larger than usual and point straight up rather than sideways as most cats usually have. It seems to be sitting on the ground, looking up at you. It does not seem to be perturbed.
He's just gonna look down at it and just kind of, I'm gonna say, he's gonna scrutinize it just to see, like,
Noble scrutinizer of cats.
Yeah.
Go for it. It's against your perception.
Oh, perception?
Yeah.
Then the only difference, the target would have been a 30.
Yeah. Well, you scrutinize the cat, and it doesn't seem to be abnormal in any way, aside from its ears.
I'm just thinking of that one meme. That cat is back!
Ma! Cat is back! Looks creepy!
It's the one with the makeup. Okay.
Anyway.
Noting it, he's just gonna kind of shake his head dismissively at it and then go to knock on the door.
There is a small pause. You hear someone approaching from behind, and the door opens, and behind it there is a How tall is Larisian? Want to see.
5'8".
5'8". There is a woman standing behind the door. She's about 5'6". She stands slightly lower than Larisian does. Her skin is fair. Her eyes are piercing green, and her hair is a soft brown. She looks you up and down and asks, "Are you in need of a place to stay?"
Only for the night, ma'am. If it's no trouble to ask. And he says as he removes his hat, places it to his chest in a bit of a respectful manner.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I'm just a simple pilgrim, and I heard this place was, well, here. And seeing as I was wandering about and I've heard tell of bandits, well, I didn't think it wise to stay out in the open at night.
Yes, of course. You should be safe here. I never have problems with bandits.
Oh, really?
No, they usually don't come here. I don't know why.
How fascinating. And this whole time, his microbeat is on, so if Tarbuck ever wants to say anything, he's hearing all of it.
Yeah. She steps to the side and opens the door wider and gestures with her hand and says, "Please, come in. I have some stew ready, if you wish to share."
Oh, I won't trouble you that. All I wish for tonight is a place to rest my head and perhaps someone to converse with.
Of course. And I'm guessing you walk in?
Mm-hmm.
As you do, she looks out the front door and says, "Garrow, there you are. Come in." And you see
Wait, the
brown...
cat's name is Garrow?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah? It's spelled a touch differently.
It'd probably also beat a custodian in close combat.
The cat has a 70 weapon skill.
Oh my god.
Has 70 weapon skill, 3 unnatural weapon skill.
Yes. Goddamn. You see the small Felid ascend the staircase quietly as, well, a cat. And he enters and jumps up onto one of the windowsills and sits down, lays down.
That's quite the interesting animal. I've always seen types similar, but never quite like that.
Oh, I honestly don't know where he came from. He just showed up one day, and I've taken care of him since. And she sits. She takes a seat in a chair next to the windowsill and pets Garrow.
I'll just smile a bit warm at her. It almost reminds me of a bird I had when I was younger.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yes, he was a fine little thing. Found him with a broken wing, took him in. My mother and father let me care for him, and, well, he stuck around for a few years until one day he left and never came back.
That's such a shame.
Oh, he was free.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He'll just kind of wave it off a little. No need to apologize. It's simply life.
Go ahead, Knight.
I was gonna ask, I hear this, right?
You hear this, but there's a touch of static in between.
Perfect.
Ha! You made it.
I'm serious. Do I recognize the name Garrow, even though I can't see its spelling? But do I recognize the name?
You cross-reference. Actually, he
No, Garo
technically-
is a myth.
no, he's yeah. Actually, he is a myth. But then again, most of the Horus Heresy is a myth.
Yeah, but would I know of the myth?
That's the thing.
That's
I would
that's
give.
what I'm asking.
Yeah, I would give a massive minus on it because. Let me see. What's the breakdown on it? It is. Oh, you have 2 ranks in it. Let me see. 2 ranks plus the 20. I will say this, Knight, if you wish. I will put a minus 40 on it because.
Now, I'm not asking to. I'm not saying do I know anything about Garo. I'm just asking, does the name sound familiar? Like the whisper of the.
Let me put it like this. If you if I put a minus 40 on this test because Garo would be quite the unknown figure.
Actually, Victor, this is kind of much just for like a joke. So let's just move on.
I kind of want to.
Nope, let's just move on.
Fair enough. For that one, no. Unfortunately, you do not recognize it. So, where were we? Oh yeah, we were talking about Larician's pet.
Yeah.
Do you remember where we stopped, Noble?
He just said it, such is life, about it flying off the going
right.
back.
You see Talia looking between you and her cat, or Felid, let's call it the 40k term, between you and her Felid, and she asks you, I forgive my curiosity, but you don't look like you're from here.
Well, it's because I'm really not.
Do you mind if I ask where you're from?
Alexis.
I'm afraid I don't recognize that.
It's a it's a sector of space. The planet I'm from is well, it was a shrine world. Tarsus 90. Crap. Sorry, ignore that part. Tarsus.
You okay, Noble?
Yeah, fine. I meant to say Tarsus.
Can you type it out for me, please, so I can see how it's spelled?
It's not a real place. I hope it's not a real place.
I wanted to, yeah. Because in my head, I had like 3 different spellings of that.
Just like Provoska.
God damn it. That's your fault. I blame you. So, can you tell me about it? I do so like hearing stories of different places.
Oh, well, it's cool. And I'm assuming there's a place to sit down.
There are a few chairs set about, more than enough for just her.
Okay. Well, then he'll sit down as near to her as possible and set his hat in his lap. Well, it was actually started out as an agri world all along, but over time, places not too different from, well, he's going to gesture around. Like this began cropping up. Over time, we got a bit of a calling, and hive cities began to pop up here, there, a little bit everywhere. At least that's what I was told. And sooner or later, we became a shrine world with quite the devotion, you know. It's... Sorry, I'm readjusting myself to my seat.
She seems enraptured by your story.
Hmm. Well, I haven't been back there in, what's it been? I'd like to say 20 years, all in all. But when I was there, I lived in the central hive of Quickall. It was quite a sight to behold, if I'm to be honest. Soaring tower, cathedrals as big as manufactorums on most worlds. It was... You could feel your connection to the Emperor there, always. He is known here, the Arms.
As you go through this part of the story, she makes the sign of the Aquila.
He'll return. It was always so wondrous, but then, well, the greenskin came.
You see her mouth go agape as she covers it up with a palm of her hand.
It was not a good sight to see. I saw Quickhouse burn. His greenskins went over it, but there were those who stood valiant, crusaders, and from what I have heard, there were even angels come down, sent by the Emperor as his holy protectors, so that people such as myself could escape. But
she asks if they won.
And he's not going to respond, he's just going to shake his head.
As Lorisian does so, she gets a look. There's a look of sorrow in her eyes, and he stands up and says, I'm sure we'll have much more to discuss before you leave on tomorrow. Please, let me show you to where you'll be sleeping.
Well, of course. And as this is going on, he's essentially just going to be kind of taking note of just about everything about.
Indeed, you see that in this main room, there's a fireplace set up next against the right wall of where you walked in, and a small table surrounded by chairs is set in the center. A ladder is a bit further along the same wall of the fireplace, which seems to lead up, and at the back of the house, there is a circular staircase leading down. She leads you towards this circular staircase and descends.
And he'll follow.
As you reach the bottom of the staircase, you see before you there is a much larger space which seems to have been dug into the ground, where sconces of fire hang along the side of the walls, and beds seem to and two rows of beds, almost 24, actually exactly 24, have been set up in 2 rows along each wall. As you can see, we're currently we haven't taken anyone in for some time. There's usually a lot less going on. There's usually more to do in the during resting season, and you figure out that she's talking about winter.
Oh, that's very understandable. May I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Well, I'm just still slightly perplexed of why you don't. It's simply just you here. Were there no others that wish to join you and be so charitable?
As if she simply replies with, "The Emperor protects."
I see.
You note that she has yet to use the colloquialism of the Harvest Father, and the fact that she so casually throws out the more commonly known Emperor's name, well, Emperor's title, I should say.
Yeah.
She seems, well, unusual in that sense.
Oh yeah, I've been slightly. I kind of want to scrutinize her because
Go for it.
this whole
Yes.
place is giving the willies.
Go scrutiny against your fellowship.
Okay. Man, I'm gonna reroll.
Yeah. You made it. This seems to be the most honest woman you've ever met in your life. She believes every word she says.
Well done. That's slightly unsettling, but okay.
Well, in any case, this is actually the perfect place to cut because everyone will be going to sleep and then we'll continue when everyone wakes up.
Makes sense to me.
That works.
So, as night falls, everyone
And bombs
else...
crush everybody. We all die.
Look out, the sky is falling.
Night falls, everyone dies.
God damn it.
Daggum exploding rules.
Damn, those fall damage rules are quite brutal.
Don't worry, just Pollonia accidentally using psychic summoning into demons while we're all unconscious. Oopsie daisy, my bad. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Queen's Court. I had a lot of fun with this one. Amma was talkative as always. Sorry, I'm terrible. This episode was very focused on, like, story-driven elements, and I really liked it, and I hope you guys did as well. Anyway, guys, I'm Alexis the Ego Queen. Love you guys. Bye.